जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Gauranga ki, Sri Krishna Balaram ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We'll be reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, text 1. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dhritarashtra basically is starting this wonderful literature. It's quite unusual for this literature, the most sublime Vedic literature, to start with somebody who is not as famous and the least of the personalities we would expect. But his message or his words are quite instructive in the sense we can take a lot of instructions from his mindset. What mindset we should adopt and what mindset we should not adopt. We can take a lot of these instructions. Prabhupada gives wonderful purport to this verse. So what he is basically saying, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, in this holy place called Kurukshetra, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, having assembled Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, desiring to fight, Mamakaha Pandavaha Chaiva, my side, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, they have assembled desiring to fight. Kim Makurvata Sanjaya, what did they do, O Sanjaya? Sanjaya is basically his assistant, relaying all the happenings in the battlefield to Dhritarashtra. So this is the simple verse, but loads of meaning. So Prabhupada writes beautiful purport. He starts off by saying, Bhagavad Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya, glorification of the Gita. There it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. Each and every word is very significant. So Prabhupada is writing, one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a wonderful pastime where in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, obviously he is the most famous, where in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, obviously he is the most famous, to hear from him, to participate in his kirtans, and there would be many devotees slash scholars, philosophers who would come and try to take audience with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They would compose some verses of glorification, either Vedic verses or glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But because there may be too many people coming and disturbing the Lord's secretary Swarup Damodar Goswami is put in charge of filtering out these people, and he would make sure that only genuine people can get into the audience with the Lord, so that the Lord is not inconvenienced with anyone and everyone. So, one occasion, there was one Brahmana poet, very advanced scholar. He comes to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he starts to showcase his advanced poetry and scholarship. He starts to compose many verses, and many people start to applaud him. Oh, what a great person! What nice poetry! We should have him meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so, obviously, he has to pass through the filter, Swarup Damodar Goswami. So, Swarup Damodar Goswami asks him to recite. So, yeah, please go ahead and recite. So, he starts to recite. This happens in the Antya Leela. So, he says, Vikacha Kamala Netre Sri Jagannatha Samgne Kanaka Ruchir Ihatmani Atmatam Yah Prapannaha Prakriti Jadam Asesham Chetayan Avirasit Sadishatu Tava Bhavyam Krishna Chaitanya Devaha. So it basically means the Supreme Personality of Godhead has assumed a golden complexion and has become the soul of the body, named Lord Jagannath, whose blooming lotus eyes are widely expanded. Thus he has appeared in Jagannath Puri and brought dull matter to life. May that Lord, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Deva, bestow upon you all good fortune. And everyone present there heard this, and they all commended this poet. But Swarup Damodar Goswami, he asked him, can you kindly explain this verse in detail? And this poet said, Lord Jagannath is a most beautiful body, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is exceptionally grave, is the owner of that body. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared here in Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, to spiritualize the entire dull material world. And everyone present there was greatly happy. But Swarup Damodara, who alone was very unhappy, and he became very angry. And he started to speak, chastising him. You are a fool. You have brought ill fortune upon yourself. You have no knowledge of the existence of the two lords, Jagannath Deva and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nor you have faith in them. So Swarup Damodar Goswami's point was, Lord Jagannath is completely spiritual and full of transcendental bliss. But you have compared him to a dull, destructible body made of inert external energy of the Lord. So if one thinks the form of Lord Jagannath is an idol made of wood, he immediately brings ill fortune to his life. In Padma Purana it is said, Achye Vishnau Shiladhihi Gurushu Naramatihi Vaishnave Jati Buddhi Yasyava Naraki Saha. One who thinks that the body of Archa Vigraha, Lord Jagannath, is made of matter, and who distinguishes between Lord Jagannath's body and the soul, is condemned. He is an offender, hellish mentality person. A pure devotee knows the science of Krishna consciousness and makes no distinction between Lord Jagannath and his body. We, in this material world, the conditioned living entity, we have a body and we are spirit soul within the body, so there is difference. But for the Lord, there is no difference. So this person was ignorant of this, and he was just puffed up with his material education, and he could not properly apply his knowledge. So he made a great offense, even though he might have composed a beautiful poetry. And say, Swarup Damodar said, because you committed an offense to Lord Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will attain a hellish destination. You do not know how to describe the absolute truth. But nevertheless, you have tried to do so. Therefore, you must be condemned. So, but this Brahmana became terrified. And to show some compassion, he became a little soft. The Brahmana became terrified. So, Swarup Damodar Goswami became a little compassionate and soft and then started to educate him. You know what? The reason why you could not understand is because you have not tried to understand this subject matter of Krishna consciousness from a devotee. And then he told him an important verse that Prabhupada quotes quite often in his lectures. This happens in Antya Leela, chapter 3, chapter 5, text 131. Yaha Bhagavata pada Vaishnavera sthane ekanta ashrayakara chaitanya charane. He said, Swarup Damodar Goswami said, if you want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, you must approach a self realized Vaishnava and hear from him. So, this is the process. We have to understand Bhagavatam or the science of Krishna consciousness only from a pure devotee. Prabhupada was, in the initial days, he was publishing Bhagavad Gita, and English was published, and the other languages were also being published. And there was a time when Sanskrit was about to be published, Bhagavad Gita as it is in Sanskrit. And so there was a professor, Professor Shenik, who was giving favorable review of Bhagavad Gita in French. And so the devotees were trying to add his words on the jacket of the book, the French book. So he comes to meet Prabhupada. And then the devotees talk to him and introduce him to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada thanks him for his help. And then he expresses to the devotees some of the comments that he had. He basically says the French is a compact language. And if you translate literally from English to French, some flavor will be missing. And the translation or the book should not smell of English, is what he said, should not smell of English. Because the French literary expression is not always exactly in line with how English is written. So he had some concern how we can get a person who can exactly understand French the way it is and can give the right way of understanding in French. So Prabhupada heard that argument, and he basically said, it is not that somebody has to become expert in French language and then only he can give translation. Not necessary. The person must be French, but he has to be a devotee. Importantly, he has to be a devotee. Otherwise, we are not going to give that book to that person to translate. And Prabhupada quoted this pastime of Swarup Damodar Goswami chastising this Brahmana. And Prabhupada said, Bhagavata padagiya Bhagavata sthane. Go and study Bhagavata from a Bhagavata. So there are two kinds of Bhagavatas. One is a person Bhagavata and book Bhagavata. Both are as good, both are absolute. Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna. Krishne svadhamo pagate dharma gnanadibihi saha kalau nashtadrishamesha puranarko dhunoditaha. When the sages, they expressed doubt how the principles of dharma and gnana will be upheld in this Kali Yuga now that Krishna has gone to his abode, the answer is given by Sukadeva Goswami, Suta Goswami, that this Bhagavatam will take the place of Krishna. Even though Krishna has gone back after performing his Leela, along with Dharma and Gnana, this Bhagavatam has arisen just like a sun, Purana arko adhuno uditaha. Now it has arisen. Bhagavatam will take place. So Bhagavatam is as good as Krishna. And a person Bhagavata is also as good as Bhagavatam book. Person Bhagavata means pure devotee of the Lord. So in order to understand the book Bhagavatam, we have to go through the person Bhagavatam, the pure devotee of Krishna. So then he was okay, he was satisfied. Yes, then we can be rest assured that the message that Prabhupada is trying to preach will be intact if it is translated by a devotee authorized by Prabhupada. So the point here is Bhagavad Gita should be very scrutinizingly be read with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. So there are many interpretations of Bhagavad Gita and hundreds of them. But why this Bhagavad Gita is most successful? Why this Bhagavad Gita changed the hearts of so many people? Is because it is as it is, as the Lord wanted it to convey. The meaning exactly the Lord wanted to convey is being conveyed by his pure devotee without personally motivated interpretations. The classic example the Prabhupada gives, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. It is not that it is some kind of a hypothetical concept. Kurukshetra exists, it's a reality. It is not some kind of a symbolic representation. Some people say a famous doctor who wrote Bhagavad Gita commentary. He said, this Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra is referring to the body. And so the Pandavas are referring to the senses, and the body should be taken care, the evil things in the body should be removed. So, all these kind of motivated interpretations. So, why put Bhagavad Gita and speak whatever you want? The Prabhupada often would say an example. So, if you want to smoke bidi or cigarette, you smoke it with somebody else's hand, and then somebody comes and say you are smoking cigarette. You show there is no cigarette in my hand. So you satisfy your own agenda, but by putting Bhagavad Gita as a cover, and you speak whatever you want because you don't have your own worth. You are bringing Bhagavad Gita and then speaking whatever you want. That will not be a proper way of understanding Bhagavad Gita. And then Prabhupada explains in the purport further, the example of clear understanding is there in the Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. So, the clear understanding how Bhagavad Gita is understood is there in Bhagavad Gita, the way it is understood by Arjuna. Arjuna accepted Sarvametad Rutam Manye Yanmam Vadasi Keshava. Whatever you are saying, I accept it in toto as it is. Not that I'll accept only some portions. Like many people, they have some favorite verses from Bhagavad Gita to satisfy their own agenda. One time we went to book distribution and distributing books. So we were trying to give Bhagavad Gita and explain the importance. And so this person was there. No, I know Bhagavad Gita. I know the message of Bhagavad Gita. And what is that message? He said, Karmanyeva adhikaraste. That's all. And he didn't know anything in that verse apart from that. There are 4 lines in that verse. He only said the first line and he said, that is it. My work is my duty. My work is my worship. I'm happy doing that. But actually, Krishna says much more than that. Yes, you do your work. Karmanyeva adhikara. Ma phaleshu kadachana. You're not entitled to the fruits of your work. Because if you do, you become responsible for your work. It will cause karma bandhana. You should work for the Lord. That is a message, not whatever you want. So you should take whatever the Lord speaks in toto, not what you want. The half hen logic. I'll only want the attractive piece. I'll take only what I want. I'll leave out what difficult portion I will leave out. So there are many, many verses like this in Bhagavad Gita. Like many people say, you follow whatever path, you go to Krishna. I'm sure many of you might have heard that. You follow whatever path, it doesn't matter. It's all going to the same. So they pick this verse. Ye yadhamam prapadyante tamstadhaiva bhajamyaham. Mama vartmanuvartante manushyaha partha sarvasha. So what Krishna is saying, I reciprocate according to your surrender. Ye yadhamam prapadyante tamstadhaiva bhajamyaham. Mama vartma anuvartante manushyaha partha sarvasha. People are following my path in all respects, O Arjuna. What it means is, whatever path you are following, you cannot do that without Krishna's help. All the paths in the government, in the country, belong to the government. But not all paths go to the capital city. You cannot take some path that goes down south and think that it is going north. Yes, all the paths belong to the government. Everyone is going in the paths laid by the government. So everybody is walking in the path that Krishna has provided based on what you wanted to do. It is not that you'll go back to Krishna. Krishna has internal energy, external energy. If you engage in internal energy, you'll go back to Krishna. If you engage in external energy, you will go away from Krishna. Even though they are all energies of Krishna. But the difference is, external energy is a separated energy. The characteristic is forgetfulness of Krishna. Whereas internal energy is remembrance of Krishna. We'll go back to Krishna. But both are energies of Krishna. So if you don't understand these things the way Arjuna has understood as it is, by properly hearing, then you will not get benefit. And if someone is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. So this is something which is very, very important. So someone who is fortunate to understand in truth, he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a pastime where after the war ends, Yudhishthira is reigned as the king, as an emperor, and the Lord spends some days in Hastinapura, and he is about to leave. And then it is explained how these women in Hastinapura, they were all trying to give send off to the Lord, but because of Vedic culture, they were going upstairs on the palaces and they were shedding tears, but they were trying to withhold their tears because it's not a good sign to shed tears when the Lord is leaving. So much personal attachment for the Lord. They didn't want anything bad happening to the Lord. See how much personal philosophy we have. It's not that the Lord is the supreme personality of Godhead, nothing can affect him. The devotee completely owns the Lord in a rasa. And that is the highest bliss. And so there it is said, these devotees, in their own ways, they were praising the Lord. But they were not scholars, they were not Vedantists. And it is said how the Lord likes these prayers coming from these devotees who may not necessarily be scholars, philosophers, Vedantists. The Lord likes these prayers of a personal relation with the Lord, glorifying the Lord, expressing this emotion with the Lord, much more than these Vedic hymns filled with awe and reverence and not necessarily having full understanding of the Lord. So, this is the effect of understanding Bhagavad Gita from a pure devotee. One surpasses, so what Prabhupada is writing here, he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. An exercise, anyone who is listening, in second chapter, there are a set of verses. Krishna talks about how one can surpass all these Vedic Karma Kanda sections, one who has understood the right Krishna consciousness. So anyone who can find that one verse or two verses or more verses in the second chapter, please send me a message or post it in the YouTube comment section. Because that passage in second chapter is a very important passage. How one can transcend this flowery language of the Vedas. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here. And moving on in the purport, one will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. So it's a very important statement here. One will find in Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. Like I'll give an example. You will not find anywhere in other scriptures. Other scriptures meaning non-Sanatana Dharma scriptures, we should understand, like the Abrahamic religion scriptures or Buddhism. You will not find the personality of Godhead being described anywhere. There won't be descriptions about the personality. It will be there in very, very hidden portions, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in a discussion with a Pathan who later becomes a Vaishnava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows him the passage in Quran where it is mentioned how the Supreme Lord is a person. But it is directly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. You will not find in other scriptures the concept of karma, reincarnation, kala, modes of material nature, the spirit soul, how many characteristics of spirit soul the Lord mentions. You will not find all those details. Prakriti, Purusha, consciousness, super soul. The concept of super soul is not found in any scripture. Very unique to Bhagavad Gita and Sanatana Dharma. So, in this way, there are many, many things which are told in Bhagavad Gita which is not found in other scriptures. That is a specific standard of the Gita. It is the perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna. Then moving on in the purport and an exercise. If you have any other topics that you think are found in Bhagavad Gita and not found in other scriptures, please post them or send me a message. It's a wonderful exercise. That the topics which are found in Gita and not found in other scriptures. And then moving on, the topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, as described in the Mahabharata, form the basic principle for this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of the Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was present personally on this planet for the guidance of mankind. So, this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. It is for the guidance of mankind, which is the most important thing needed, especially in these times when people are all scared and people are all anxious. What will happen? how we will pass through the situation. So, real guide. Bhagavad Gita is the real guide. If one sincerely tries to understand, he will get every solution in this book. How to lead a meaningful life, purposeful life, a happy life. The word Dharmakshetra is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of the Kurus, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, "What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do?" So basically, it's very significant why he used that word Dharmakshetra, because he knew that the Pandavas were the virtuous people and the Kauravas were trying to scheme different ways how to win over the kingdom, including how to kill these Pandavas. So they were on the Adharma side. So he was having couple of concerns. One is this Dharmakshetra. Kurukshetra is a Dharmakshetra. Kurukshetre Dharmam Acharet. It's mentioned in scriptures. So he was concerned whether his sons will be positively influenced and will stop fighting. Because a bad person, when he is influenced by something good, he stops doing bad. That is the nature of Krishna consciousness. That is the nature of Dharma. So he was concerned, oh, this Dharma Kshetra, maybe it is influencing my sons. Oh, will they stop fighting or what? That is the reason why he is using that word Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. Otherwise, he could have used the word Kurukshetra directly. Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. Directly he could have used. Why did he use Dharma Kshetra? That is the significance. And he was also concerned that Dharmakshetra would influence or would tilt the scale in Pandava's favor. So he was concerned from both sides, whether his sons will come for some kind of a truce or whether it will favorably influence the Pandavas. He didn't want the compromise between his cousins and the brothers. And the other word which is explained is Mamakaha Pandavas Chaiva. He is separating his children with Pandavas. After all of them came from Kurus. They are all Kurus. They were called as Kurus. But now he is specifically distinguishing his own sons as Kurus and the other side as Pandavas. So this is the defect of materialistic mentality. This bodily difference, me and mine, aham mama iti. This is this bodily conception that Bhagavatam condemns. Pumshah striya mithuni bhavametan tayormitho hrudaya grandhi mahu ato gruha kshetra sutapta vittair janasya mohoya maham mameti. So this aham mama concept, Bhagavatam says it starts from this attraction between Pumshaha and Striya. This whole world, it is said that it is running primarily because of attraction between male and female. Pumshaha Striya Mithuni Bhavam, that attraction. And Tayor Mitho, and when they unite, it becomes even stronger. Hridaya Grandhi, it becomes a knot in the heart. Hridaya Grandhi Mahuhu. And then Ato Gruha Kshetra Sutapta Vittair. And they start to gather Gruha, house, because they want to live under a good house. Roti, Kapada, Makan, they say. Gruha Kshetra, Suta, children, they want children, relatives, Apta, friends, wealth. In this way, that knot becomes harder and harder and harder. This is all coming from aham and mama. My body, I will work for my body and pleasure of my bodily senses. And once I acquire this other partner, and they also become part of me, mine. So we want to protect me and mine. And anyone who comes and tries to disrupt this, he's my enemy. So this is the bodily concept. Fortunately, even though this knot is so tight in the heart, Bhagavatam, it is said that it can be cut to pieces. Bhidyate hridaya grandhis chidyante sarva samshayaha क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट evatmanishware. By hearing process. Hearing about whom? Hearing about Krishna. Just by hearing, yad anudhyasina yukta karma grandhi nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. This anudhyanam, this thinking, meditating about the Lord, that serves as asina. Yad anudhyasina yuktaha, those who constantly think about Krishna, that karma grandhi nibandhanam chindanti, that grandhi in the heart, because of our fruitive activity, karma grandhi, which is binding us, nibandhanam, chindanti, it cuts to pieces. But in order to remember Krishna all the time, in order to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, one has to hear first carefully from a pure devotee. When one hears nicely, Shravanam, then all the other things can happen. Kirtanam, Smaranam, and then that Chindanti will happen. So Bhagavad Gita gives us an opportunity. When Arjuna finally surrendered, he carefully heard. And Krishna also encouraged hearing. Another exercise for people who are hearing, where all in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna stresses the importance of hearing. So only in Bhagavad Gita, of course, in the Bhagavatam there are many places. If you want, you can write about Bhagavatam also. Especially in Bhagavad Gita, where does Krishna ask Arjuna to hear nicely? So that will be an exercise. Please send me or write in YouTube comments. So moving on. So here, yes, Prabhupada explained about Kurukshetra, which is actually the place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven. One should not misinterpret. And both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandus from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews, the sons of Pandu. As in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out. So it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana and others would be wiped out, and the thoroughly religious persons headed by Yudhishthira would be established by the Lord. So, this is the reason why the Lord appears, as we know. The famous verse, the Lord appears for two reasons, or three reasons rather. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So to eradicate dushkrutam and to deliver his devotees, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam, and to re-establish the principles of religion. So one may ask the question, now more than ever, this world is in need of Krishna. So why is Krishna not appearing? Many people ask that question. The answer is Krishna has appeared. As Bhagavatam, as it is said, Puranar ko dhunoditaha Even if Krishna is present, people like Duryodhana won't take advantage of Krishna. So even if Bhagavatam is present, if we are like Duryodhana, we won't be able to take advantage of Bhagavatam. It is there. Krishna has come as holy name. Kali Kale Namarupe Krishna Avatar. So if we are like Duryodhana, we won't be able to grasp the importance and power of the holy name. So in order to take advantage, Krishna is there. Krishna has incarnated. The holy name is doing his wonderful pastimes, delivering people of most sinful character, whoever has taken to Krishna consciousness by hearing about Krishna and starting to chant the holy names, their lives are changing. Their character is changing. Their hearts are getting transformed. So this is the power of the holy name. He is doing the pastimes like how Krishna has done his pastimes. It is up to us to take advantage of the holy name, especially in these times when it becomes even more pronounced, the evil effects of this age. Kaler dosha nidhe rajan. Not just today and this time, this month. This is the characteristic of Kali Yuga. प्रायेण अल्पायुषः सभ्य कलौ अस्मिन् युगे जनाः मंदाः सुमन्दमतयो मन्दभाग्या हि उपद्रुताः. Almost always, prayena, in Kali Yuga, people are laden with alpayushah, small lifespan, mandaha, lazy, misguided, unfortunate, and always disturbed by natural disasters, diseases, epidemics, pandemics, earthquakes, thunderstorms, so many things. The only shelter. Kaler dosha nidhe rajan, asti hi eko mahan gunan. Even though Kali Yuga is full of faults, but there's one great quality. What is that? Kirtana deva Krishnasya mukta sangaha param rajet. Just by nicely chanting the holy name of Krishna, Kirtana deva Krishnasya mukta sangaha param rajet. We can become freed from this contamination of this Kali Yuga. Mukta sangaha. And we attain the highest benefit, param rajet. So if it bestows such nice things, who will not take advantage of the opportunity of this Krishna consciousness, especially the chanting of holy name? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll stop here. I'll see if there is a way I can figure out people asking any comments, questions, or people, if they have my number, they can WhatsApp me. Otherwise, I can respond to the answers later by looking at the comments. Okay, so we will end here. Taigo Premanande Hari Hari Bol Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna.